Next speaker is hopefully Alia Compton. Alia has, I believe, a 1-year-old at home, so we are going to do our best to hopefully have her behave. Just kidding, Alia. But Alia is a leader at the Amway Grand Plaza, where she has worked for over 20 years. She is a mother, a wife, and an advocate for those who don't have a voice. Alia was actually one of my first bosses when I worked at the Amway. And yeah, thank you for being here, Alia. You want to make sure to unmute yourself.
Hold on. Thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Sorry, I think we have her quiet for a few minutes. So just want to go over my background. I'm actually not from Grand Rapids. I'm from Canton, Ohio. Not much difference from Grand Rapids as far as it being predominantly white. But I moved here about 20 years ago to actually work at the Amway. But while I was growing up in Canton, Ohio, there are things that have happened that I don't think I necessarily knew or understood what was happening because I was so young. So we were raised first portion of my life in a Black neighborhood. And then we moved into a white neighborhood. And at first I didn't know, I didn't realize what was happening as far as the looks that we got. We are a biracial family, so not that that matters, we still have color to our skin. But I never understood some of the racial slurs that had happened because I was young. I was 10 years old. So it kind of just went in and out of my brain. So I just completely ignored it. But what hit me the most actually as I was getting older and going into high school is one of my friend's parents, I overheard them stating that, oh, you're allowed to be friends with that person because she's not that Black. Telling a Black person that they're not that Black doesn't make any sense. I do believe that most of these people thought that one of my parents was white and not any of my parents, neither one of my parents are white. They both are biracial, where in the biracial where it comes from, I mean, it stems a long way. But that still doesn't matter. I'm still Black. And then one of my first jobs, when I turned about 18, I was called a thing by a man who didn't want me to wait on his table. I was a server. And he said, I don't want that thing at my table. And you know what? I literally had no idea what was happening. I was just politely asked not to serve the person any longer. Once I was explained what was happening, it really shocked me. I can't believe that someone would actually say that to anybody. I'm a good person. I wasn't harming you. So what makes you say that to anyone? Yeah, it was hard. Not understanding. I think my mom protected us a lot from the racial divide that was there and happening. But many comments as I was growing up. I apologize. There's a kid. You okay? But one of the things I did want to really highlight was actually hair. As you see, I have really big hair. Sorry. So growing up, I was raised to have my hair pressed. And for those that do not know what a press and comb is, it's an actual comb that is metal that is put on a hot stove under fire and then pressed, and then you put it through your hair, kind of like a flat iron, but I think it's a little hotter. But basically just to show that I don't have curls or naps or whatever you want to call my hair. And for the longest, my mother put a hot comb in my hair until one day she actually got a phone call that was something tragic happened in the family. She had that hot comb in my hair, And let me just say that it is very uncomfortable having and knowing that something could burn your skin off close to the nape of your head. And that one day she actually burnt all the back of my hair off because the tragedy that had happened over the phone, she was in utter shock. And sure enough, all that hair gone. I'm a child. I think I was around 8 or 9 years old. I don't even know if I was that old. It was terrifying. Now I have no hair in the back. So that you had to think about like your hair, one of the first things anybody sees, and you're being judged by it. And now you're a kid who just got her hair burnt off. So then my mother decided, well, we're gonna have a relaxer placed in your hair. You know, I never understood. I just went along with it. I was a kid, just went along with it. So a relaxer, not much better than a hot comb, still can burn your skin off, can burn your hair completely out of your head if you have somebody that does not know what they're doing. But it's basically it was to have this persona that we have this luxurious, soft, silky hair, and so that we can fit in with white society. And you know what, it worked. I mean, this was ingrained in my mother and my grandmother, that your hair has to be a certain way in order to be accepted by white society. And I do believe it was also part to hide from the fact that you were Black and or you have kinky hair. I mean, you're basically taught that your hair is terrible as someone of color. So for 30 years, relaxed my hair. I would never miss a beat. If I even felt just a little bit of curl, I was like, ooh, what time is it? I'd look at my watch like, oh yeah, it's time to get a relaxer. And then about 6 to 7 years ago, my sister is the one who, she went natural and she stopped putting relaxers in her hair. Come on. And that's what prompted me to stop putting relaxers in my hair. I also played roller derby, so it was getting harder and harder to maintain a relaxer in my hair when I have a helmet on my head and having to wash my hair more often than I normally ever did, because my hair started breaking. It would get dry, it would start breaking. So whatever my sister does, I'm gonna do. So I went natural. Probably the hardest and scariest thing ever that I've done physically to my own body, besides having a baby. But yeah, it was like a scary thing to know that now my hair is going to be a fro, and I'm going to walk into work and my hair is going to be thrown out. And what are people going to say? I've had comments. I had somebody say, oh, I didn't know you were Black. And I looked at them confused and they said, oh, it's because of your hair. I didn't know you were Black. You have a fro. And I'm like, really? Like, it's pretty awful. I have many notes, by the way, sorry.
Yeah, question that came in, and then we will revisit and come back to yours. Can you speak on, as a Black woman and a manager in the Amway Grand Plaza, is there any time where you felt you've experienced, like in yourself, or you've seen staff members feel any type of racism, and how have you addressed that?
So definitely the oddball in the entire hotel. There's been Black managers here and there, and now there actually is maybe 3 of us in the hotel. However, for 20 years, there has been almost just me as far as a Black woman. There has been Black males. I just actually, last year, I had a client that I had to talk to her mother about her billing over the phone. And they lived in another city, state. We've never met face to face until they came in for their event. And when they did, the mother looked at me in shock and was like, oh, I didn't know you were, and they had to cut her off because they didn't, when she saw me, you could see in her face that she did not expect me to be a black woman because we only talked over the phone. Embarrassed for the actual bride. The bride was totally embarrassed and apologized to me, brought me aside and was like, I'm so sorry. She can come across as a little racist. But what do you do in that case? I mean, this is my client. Somebody paying thousands of dollars for a wedding. I can't come back at them. Unfortunately, a lot of times you just have to swallow it and keep on moving because this is my job. Other Black managers within the hotel who have come to me and or they were associates and that they have now moved into management, encouragement to them is what I've given them to get into a position of managing, because a lot of them are like, I feel like I'm not getting this job because I'm Black. I've applied this many times and I don't feel like I'm getting this job because I'm Black. And I all I could say to them was to do their best and to show everyone that you're better than the other person. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, that was perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it really touched me on what you talked about on hair because I resonate with that a lot. And again, hitting on that code switching and what you have to do to, sometimes make it in the work world. So thank you so much for your willingness to share. And we're going to have more questions for you at the end, but we're going to transition into our next speaker. Sarah, if you'd like to introduce them.
All right. So our next speaker we have is Patrick Johnson.
Take it away?
Yeah, closing remarks. I actually still have like 3 more pages to talk about hair. It's kind of funny, but the one thing I wanted to say is that, of course, we're all different. Everybody's different. Our hair is different. Our bodies are different. Stop making people feel uncomfortable about their physical self. I can't do anything about this hair. It's going to be there. But don't walk up to me and touch my hair. This is something that actually happens a lot with white people, is that they walk up to try to touch my hair. I don't know if I look like an object in like a museum, something that's different, but it's like, it's uncomfortable. This is my personal space. And it also makes me feel self-conscious, like is something wrong with my hair? I've had to learn to love this hair. This hair has transformed a lot since going natural. So for somebody to walk up to just try to touch my hair just because they've never seen it, touched it in this sort of state, just don't do that. It's uncomfortable. I wouldn't do it to you. I don't have a desire actually to even touch you. So please, that's all.
Thank you, Alia. I relate to that. It happened to me in Meyer once. 2 full hands of a man I never met before. So I know the feeling. But Pat, we'd love to hear from you too.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Sarah and team.